Howdy, peeps. Your friendly neighborhood Monomachos here speaking to you on a very cold July Saturday, the 27th. And what do we expect? It's still winter and it's very cold. The snow has melted, but here we are. Let's get right to it, shall we? By the way, I'm not smoking this pipe. I'm not allowed inside lovely Monomachos Manor to do so. Anyway, but here it is. Anyway, um, so let's let's go down the list, shall we? Um, so why do we have a government in the first place? Well, ordinarily you have a government to secure the borders, to secure the peace, to provide for the common defense. I said provide. Did you catch that? It's in the Constitution. To promote the general welfare, not provide the general welfare, but promote it, and to provide for the common defense. Clearly, the present government has is not doing that, and what's happening at the border is nothing less than an atrocity. It's horrible on so many levels, and it is not it's not liberals being humane. It's anti-American oligarchs being evil, and it it's there's nothing good that can be said about it. Nothing good will come out of it. Unless you think civil war is good. Unless you think the collapse of our government is good. I don't. So take it for what it's worth. This is evil. This is bad. And the people who are orchestrating it are bad. Unfortunately, they may succeed. Lord have mercy. Okay, so who are the people back east? Well, Carrie Lake, the lovely Senate candidate for Arizona's upcoming Senate election, released a bombshell of a video of an audio tape, which she recorded 11 months ago. Her interlocutor was Joseph DeWitt, I believe that's his name. He was operative word, the chairman of the Arizona GOP. Anyway, you can listen to the tape below. I've posted it. It's chilling. I mean, it's just chilling. Uh, Basically, if I was going to title the speech, I'd say "Back in the USSA." We live in a mafia state. Not only is her life in danger, but so is his if he doesn't um, deliver the goods. Think about that, folks. Go back and watch the Godfather trilogy. I think in the first one, Kay, Michael's wasp wife, took him to task for his father's business dealings. And we know what his father was. He was a godfather. He was a don. And he said, "You people are no different." And she said, "Well, my people don't whack people or or kill people or you know do these things." And he says, "Now who's being naive, Kay? Think about it. Not good." Okay, the Church of Greece. Did they destroy globalism? Possibly. I'm gonna go out there and say it's probable. At the very least, they gave him a big black eye, and God bless them for doing it. They did it unanimously and resoundingly and quickly. Would you know, the very next day, the Ecumenical Patriarchate, the Holy Synod, got together, and boy, they said, "Attaboy, we're right behind you." Who's not right behind him is Archbishop Elpidophoros of America. He's doing a song and dance now in Greece, trying to undo the damage that he has done regarding his views on certain moral subjects, shall we say, as well as his actions. I don't think I think he's going to be gone fairly soon. Anyway, he's really trying to save his position, and he's doing it in Greece, thinking that that gives him some moral capital. I don't think he's going to succeed, as I said, but we'll see. I mean, in any event, the Church of Greece did the right thing. Okay, the Ukrainians downed an Ilyushin 72 aircraft, one of those jumbo things. Unfortunately, killing all on board. Unfortunately, of the 72 people who were killed, 65 were Ukrainian prisoners of war. Lord have mercy. They were being part of a prisoner exchange. So why'd they do it? You could say incompetence, friendly fire. These things happen in war. Let's be honest, they do. Or it could be the result of a palace intrigue within Kiev. Alex Christoforou has suggested that there is a possibility that this was Zelensky's way of or some people's way of trying to get rid of General Valery Zaluzhny, who is the commander-in-chief of all the Ukrainian armed forces, military commander. Essentially giving him a black eye and forcing him out. As of now, he has refused to bow out. Zaluzhny, for the past 6 months, has been trying to get him to resign, but Zaluzhny refuses. He told at one point he told Zelensky, "No, you're going to have to fire me, and everybody's going to know. That's going to be on you." Anyway, the Russians continue to take ground. The Ukrainians continue to lose ground. And the collective West continues to look over at Gaza and see what it could do to, calm things down there or escalate things, as the case may be. Regardless, Ukraine is pretty much done. As they say, it's all over but the shouting. Okay, I've got some comments here that I'd like to address. Specifically Antiochian Sun, and I printed it out because my own comment, because I wanted to get it right. Costa. No, I'm sorry, this was Costa I was addressing, not Antiochian Sun. Forgive me. Costa, what you described is causing me to reflect somewhat. Okay, this is in regard to Bishop Athenagoras' apology. First of all, we should respect his apology for what it is. It would be a sin against charity not to. That said, stepping back and looking at the entire ecumenist landscape from 30,000 feet, I can see how we got into this mess in the first place, or at least in the second place. The ecumenical patriarchate, being a geographic fiction, has no valid dioceses outside of the so-called northern lands of Greece and the Dodecanese. Worse, it chooses to groom celibate academics to the episcopate for the most part. And this has been the case since at least the early 2000s. Hear me out. America, on the other hand, and I'm talking about the GOA here, is a different set of circumstances, as at least here there are active pastors of active parishes and who by hook or crook were elevated to the episcopate. But even here, when it comes to the primacy, a non-American academic is usually chosen. Where there is an American who is chosen, i.e. Archbishop Spiridon Pappas, he was essentially no different than the run-of-the-mill Constantinopolitan hierarchs, in other words, an academic. The others who were academics were non-Americans, his successors, specifically Demetrius and Elpidophoros. Now, please understand, I'm not disparaging the capability or sanctity of these men, just pointing out some facts. Regardless, the Constantinopolitan eparchies that do exist outside of Orthodox lands groom men who fit in with the globalist mindset of the ecumenical patriarchate. A similar case could be made for the Ukraine, where because of the disastrous intervention of Bartholomew, his globalist overlords encouraged him to use the excuse of healing the schism by putting a never-ordained charlatan as primate of the new so-called church. And that's ignoring everything else about his Mickey Mouse shenanigans that led to his illegal and uncanonical intervention there in the first place, which is a story for another day. Anyway, ever since Constantinople lost its demographic reason for being in 1922 with the exchange of populations, and in 1955 during the anti-Greek pogrom in Istanbul, it it lost its pastoral mindset, mainly because there were no Greek Christians and hence no Greek pastors and no Greek parishes. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it had to recalibrate its business model. Would it be a stretch for me to go out further on a limb and speculate that the ecumenist globalist mindset is inevitable in the Anglosphere, where there is no Orthodox phronema and Greek bishops feel they have to accede to a liberal Enlightenment mindset? I mean, how realistic would it be for a Constantinopolitan bishop who is first and foremost an academic and who has never been a pastor to come to America, Australia, the UK, New Zealand, and to say, I'm here to preach the gospel because we have the fullness of the faith? In other words, their humility prevents them from being bold pastors for a lot of reasons, mainly because they're not pastors, actual parishes. So they just automatically accede to the globalist, ecumenist mindset of America because it's America. Okay? Mind you, I realize that this is a burden that all bishops of the foreign eparchies operate under. In other words, here in America, all of the ethnic bishops of the ethnic jurisdictions, they labor under the same thing. I don't see any Serbian or Bulgarian or Romanian or Albanian bishop going to an ecumenist gathering and saying, I'm here to preach the gospel. Okay, I don't see it. They don't either. However, we never hear about a non-Constantinopolitan bishop getting involved in such ecumenical entanglements in the first place. Think about that. Okay. Metropolitan Joseph, the former primate of the Antiochian Archdiocese, boy, he came down like a ton of bricks, as did the other bishops, to take Elpidophoros to task for his many questionable missteps. Okay. Okay. I realize, of course, and to be fair, that this same criticism can be leveled against Archbishop Iakovos Koukousis of blessed memory. He was always on the lookout for being seen or photographed at a major cultural or political event. People accused him of being a grandstander, and in fairness, he was. The difference is he truly loved America, and he viewed himself first and foremost as an American. And on top of that, he had no truck with the ethnic divisions that existed in America. He was the driving force behind SCOBA. He wanted to make SCOBA happen. He wanted to make unity in America happen. He was the driving force behind Ligonier. As far as I'm concerned, he can be forgiven for a lot. So, Costa, thank you for your very thoughtful comment, and I hope my response is okay. In the meantime, I've got a few more. I want to respond to Petros, and he said something about it looks like Hieronymus met with LP and spoke about what to do with the children of gay couples. It appears the Church of Greece has decided that when those children grow up and choose to be baptized, then they will. Though I have to be honest, I'm a little puzzled by this, as am I. Hieronymus himself is a liberal, but he was forced to toe the line, morally speaking, regarding the Orthodox, what we Orthodox believe about the moral tradition of homosexuality and all that. This explains why I believe he had an audience with Elpidophoros. They're both trying to claw their way back into the good graces of the globalists or liberals, and to try and say, okay, we lost this one, but we're still stuck with the consequences of the gay baptism. And as we said, there was another gay baptism in Greece before Epiphoros' two Greek actors and their surrogate son. So, you know, um, it's confusing and it's not edifying, but there you have it. Okay, we have another comment here from Marcos, and he replied to Petros, and this was in regard to orthodoxy in general, uh, but also the gay couple thing. Okay, very simple. If a pagan or Muslim couple show up saying we want to baptize our children Orthodox but raise them in our non-Orthodox belief system, what is the church supposed to do? Infant baptism is done because of the associated supposition that the parents are also Orthodox and committed to raising their children to become good Orthodox Christians. Okay? In other words, the catechism, the whole 9 yards. Well, there you go. Of course. I mean, if I were an open polygamist and I had several dozen um, children, would I take them to church to get baptized? Would the church baptize them? And well, I would think that at the very least the priest would say, well, you know what, you got all these wives, you got to get rid of them, and and raise this child these children that you want to be Christians. And you yourself are going to act like a Christian and not as a polygamist. Okay, that's it's kind of a no-brainer. Um, Let me give you an idea about the pastoral situation. I've been told that in Africa, whenever Orthodox or Catholics or Anglicans baptize and people who previously were pagan, if there was a polygamous situation, the uh, the pastors would say, "Okay, I get it. You've got 5 wives here. Okay, you don't have to divorce them because if you do, they're going to starve. They're not going to have any means of support. You're the only means of support. But it stops with you." Okay. Same thing with Prince Vladimir of Kiev. He had dozens of wives and mistresses. When he became Christian, he didn't get rid of them. He found husbands for them, believe it or not, and or put them in monasteries. A lot of them wanted to go. Okay, and he was a very fervent pastor, by the way. I mean, literally, the guy just became the magic Christian. Okay, let's see, got another one here. Brendan, you're on fire. I mean, what can I say, Brendan? You've got it all pegged about about COVID, and of course now we know that yes, indeed, COVID or SARS, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, was engineered in the Wuhan lab. It's not a conspiracy theory. You know what the difference is between the conspiracy theory and the truth? 6 months. You know, spoiler alert. It's a conspiracy theory. It's the truth. So, Brendan, keep up the good work. I like what you're writing, and Gail appreciates it too. Yeah, because Gail is doing the most of the work on the WHO front, COVID, and all that. I'll put that aside now. Okay, so enough of the comments. I hope I've addressed them to your all satisfaction. And all aboard the Trump train. Boy, he won decisively in New Hampshire. And literally, they threw the book at him. They got Democrats and Independents to cross state lines, not cross state lines, cross party lines and vote for Trump, and they did, and he still won. Okay, so now we're going to close this up with Fort Sumter 2.0, and I've got to hand it to the 27 governors so far that have come to Governor Abbott's aid in at Eagle Pass on the southern border, and I think the first one was my governor, Governor Stitt, and he gave a terse forward tweet: "Oklahoma stands with Texas." We'll see how this all plays out, won't we, folks? In the meantime, pray for our nation. We don't want a civil war. I don't. But unless things change, it's going to happen. In the meantime, ciao. Pax vobiscum.